Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Three Guys On podcast. My name is Alex Drabeck.
Michael Kelly.
And my name is Russell Grombeck.
And today we are going to be going over the top 10 best action movies of all time by Collider. All right, starting off with, for number 10, we have Leon, the Professional. Now, this is a movie that, well, first, before I get into what I have to say, I want to read the description. Directed by Luc Bessons, Leon the Professional is centered on the unique relationship that forms between a professional cleaner, hitman, and a 12-year-old girl, Mathilda. After her parents are murdered by a corrupt DEA agent, Mathilda relies on Leon for survival and eventually training to become a talented enough assassin who can seek revenge. So, I have seen bits and pieces of this movie. From what I saw, I thought it was pretty good. I don't really have a full opinion on this movie. This movie is kind of older. I mean, there are other movies on this list that are probably even older than this movie, but I don't really have an opinion on this one. I just know that a lot of people really like it, and it's really good. But yeah, do you guys have anything to say about it?
I've never seen this movie. I've heard about it. It is an older movie. I'll have to give it a watch. I can't give it an opinion on it if I haven't seen it, but I'm definitely going to have to put that on the watch list.
This is actually, do you guys know who Natalie Portman is?
Yeah.
So this was kind of like one of her breakout roles.
Is she like the little girl in it?
Yeah, she plays Mathilda. She was really good in this movie. She had to have been 11 or 12 when this movie came out. So this was kind of like her breakout role.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna be like a broken record probably for some of these action movies, because if some of these are like older than like this one, because I haven't seen this one. If they're older than this one, I most than likely have not seen it yet.
Okay. Moving on to number 9, we have Gladiator. Now this movie I have seen. This movie is amazing. I love Russell Crowe. This is a movie that won him his Best Actor award at the Academy Awards. It has Joaquin Phoenix in it, who also played Joker in Joker back in 2019. This movie, when it came out, it was incredible. I mean, I was only 1 or 2 at the time when it came out. I didn't see this movie until I was about 15, but when I did see this movie, I just remember thinking, man, the scope, the size, it was just ahead of its time. The whole gladiator aspect of it, the big battle scenes, the gritty and dirtiness of it. Russell Crowe is amazing. Every actor in this movie was amazing. Yeah, have you guys seen this?
I feel like I've seen like bits and pieces. I've definitely because I like movie clips on like YouTube and stuff. I've definitely seen The Kick, and I feel like that's like the most iconic part of the movie. Even like after like the movie came out, like over the I feel like a couple of years like after the movie comes out, it became like a meme. The whole Kick.
I think you're thinking of 300.
No, am I? Or I think it was in Gladiator.
So 300 had the Kick. Like I could see why you would think like because of the whole gladiator aspect. 300 was had that particular scene, but like there are a lot of scenes in Gladiator that are similar to 300. But yeah, what about you, Michael?
Y'all are probably not gonna like me. I've never seen it. I've heard. I've heard it's an iconic movie. I've never seen it, and it's just one of those movies that you need to watch. And like I said, I'll put it on my watch list. But man, I've heard the performance that he had in that movie, and just Gladiator. When you hear Gladiator, it just brings a certain excitement, and I can't wait to watch it.
Moving on to number 8, we have, I hope I'm saying this correctly. It's called Harakiri.
I think it's Harakiri. Yeah, like
Harakiri.
What's the description of the movie? Because I've never really heard of it.
I haven't heard of this movie either, but set during the Edo period in Japan, Harakiri is a legendary judo geeky movie that follows the Ronin Hanshiri Sangumo. He goes to the local feudal lord to request an honorable death by seppuku, but is ridiculed and questioned because of a recent incident involving a younger samurai who wanted the same thing. So, I apologize if I butchered any of those words, but this looks very interesting. It's obviously an older movie because it's in black and white. But
Yeah.
those are. Whenever I think of movies like this, I always think of like the black and white aspect of it. I think it adds like to the atmosphere. Like I'm looking at the picture and I think it looks really cool in black
Yeah.
and white.
I mean, like, this is probably definitely gonna have to be on our watch list.
Yeah.
If it's this high, I want to see how like they put like the sounds and like obviously like it's black and white and the different picture and how they kind of would do if this movie's that high for being that old. Like I want to watch it. It makes me interested to see how they kind of put it together back then. So that's interesting.
For a minute, I thought this was a movie called Seven Samurai, which is another older Japanese fighting movie. It has a similar look to it. Yeah. What do you gotta say, Russ?
Honestly, I'm the same here with Michael. Like I said, I'm probably gonna sound like a broken record, but yeah, I've not seen this movie at all. I've not heard of this movie, honestly. Like, if it comes down to older movies, like Western more, I know, like samurai older movies, I've not.
You more
really
of a
particular.
Western guy?
Well, it's because my grandpa he's shown me like older Western movies, and like
Yeah.
I've never really, no one's really shown me older samurai movies before. So yeah, I've never watched this or heard of it.
Number 7, Seven Samurai. It's kind of ironic. I just mentioned Seven Samurai. Yeah. So it was made in 1954. An essential samurai film for beginners. Directors Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai is centered on a group of Ronin who are hired by the inhabitants of a poor village to protect them from bandits. Starting with an older samurai, the 7 fighters must find a way to work together to prevent the thieves from stealing the civilians' crops. So this movie in particular, I before I go into that, I want to read a little bit further. It says the influential film is a genre-defining masterpiece that used innovative techniques in both its narrative and technical aspects. Its complicated camera work served as an important step in using multiple angles to capture the same action shot. The movie also began the trope of a group of heroes coming together to accomplish a goal or beat an antagonist, which is still used today. So this movie was inspired, so I know that George Lucas, when he was making the Star Wars movies, he used a lot of these tropes from this movie, where a group of heroes come together to defeat the villains. I have never seen this movie personally, but I've heard a lot of good things about this from other reviewers on YouTube, and this is something I definitely want to watch. I just haven't had the chance to watch it, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. You guys got anything?
I honestly, I don't think this is like another movie I've not heard, but like looking at it and like looking how like the film is supposed to be, it gives me like a remembrance of like Mulan and how like that story is and like how like they come together to defeat a protagonist. Like as it says, it's like still used today. So like maybe like Mulan is like was like inspired by that. So that's like my take on it.
I've never seen it before. Another one I got to add to the watch list. It sounds like a very iconic and movie of its own, like kind of like that start for like the samurai kind of movies, like those kind of backgrounds, you know. So definitely on the watch list, and hopefully I'll get to watch it soon. Sounds interesting.
Number 6, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Now, this movie, I hope you guys have definitely heard of at some point in time. Amazing movie. James Cameron really hit it out of the park. This movie was ahead of its time when it came out, especially when it came to the CGI work that was in it with the liquid metal Terminator. I know in the first Terminator movie, James Cameron wanted to put the liquid metal Terminator in that one, but the technology wasn't up to that point to where they were able to do it yet. So they used it for the second movie, which in my opinion, I think that movie is either better than the first or in terms of quality, very similar because and then also this movie helped Arnold Schwarzenegger with his career, made him an icon. I don't think he would be relevant today if it wasn't for these movies, and they're still trying to make Terminator movies, even though the more current ones aren't as good. This movie set the golden standard for what a great action movie is supposed to be, in my opinion.
I have to say, yeah, I've watched this. It's probably been a bit, but yeah, and it's like also I have to say like it's probably arguably one of like the best Terminator movies like, in like the series of the movies that Terminator has, and like yeah, like you said, like the liquid Terminator coming out like that, like CGI, you know, like how that turned out. It's just very interesting because like out like of the time the movie came out and like the technology back then, like how they did that, were able to do that and stuff is just very interesting.
So yeah, just it was like you said, it was ahead of its time. It's probably, in my opinion, the best Terminator movie. Arnold's great in it. Cannon does a great job of directing. I mean, it's all over the place. It's a great story, and it's got great action, and it's a thriller, and it's probably the best Terminator movie in that series, and it's definitely I would say it's a good spot for it to be on the list.
Number 5, we have Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. Now, this movie is iconic. Definitely deserves to be in the top 5, in my opinion, of best action movies of all time. I remember watching this movie on VHS when I was a really young kid. So I remember watching A New Hope and thinking, man, this movie is amazing. How could they top this? But then they actually top it with Empire. And what's really interesting about this movie is that it really feels like a middle chapter of a story where in the beginning you introduce the characters, in the middle there's the confrontation, something goes wrong. This whole second movie is just that. It's the problem We know all these characters. We love these characters. They were introduced in the first movie, but this movie, everything goes to crap, and we see the heroes lose at the end, which we're not used to. We're shocked by it, and it makes us want to come back for more for the third movie. Yeah, what do you guys have to say?
It's iconic. I mean, like, think about, what was it, 1980? Was that when it was made? 1980. Being in the movie theater and Darth Vader going, "Luke, I am your father." You know, like, that shocked everybody. And that lightsaber fight is iconic. And that was the first time anybody's ever seen Yoda. You know, Yoda, one of the biggest characters in Star Wars, was introduced.
And it was a puppet.
Yeah, the battle on Hoth, and Leia and Han are kind of starting to start their romantic chapter, and just that whole movie is iconic. It's one of the best Star Wars movies ever, and it definitely deserves its part on this list for sure.
Do we want to mention the kiss between Luke and Leia?
No.
No. That shouldn't even be in there, man.
Yeah,
Very-
but I agree. Like, it is definitely a movie of its time because, like, it is like so action packed, and like every scene is so impactful. Like, you're just like it's like not a movie where you want to skip forward. It's like one of those movies where you just want to watch it and like see like the beauty of like how the scenes just flow together.
For sure. Number 4, we have The Matrix, which came out in 1999, starring Keanu Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne. Now, this movie I didn't see until I was around 18, and I loved it. I thought it was very cool. I could see why a lot of people liked it when it first came out in 99. Like, it was very different with the use of more CGI when it came to like the stunts. But there was a purpose for it. They weren't just using it because they were lazy. It was because they were literally inside of a computer system. So they were trying to give the illusion like, okay, like these people can do these incredible things, but it's because they're inside of a computer, basically computer program called The Matrix. And yeah, Keanu Reeves was famous before this movie came out, but this movie made him even more famous. Like, when I think of Neo, I think of Keanu. But have you guys seen The Matrix?
I have not seen it, and a lot of people give me a lot of crap for it, which I understand. It's an iconic movie, and Keanu Reeves is one of my favorite actors. But it's definitely on my watch list. I'm definitely gotta watch it soon. I mean, the movie's what year did it come out?
1999.
Yeah.
It's older than me, so I mean, like it came out right around that time, so that interests me. So I'm really looking forward to watching it, and I've heard nothing but great things, so I'm kind of excited to watch it. What about you, Russ?
Yeah, I feel like this. I think I've seen like bits and pieces, but also I've seen behind the scenes and how well like how they make like each like certain scenes is just interesting. How they use the green screen to make the scenes happen, and like it was just interesting.
For sure. Moving on to number 3, though, we have Inception. Now, I have seen bits and pieces of this movie. I know that it made over $1 billion in the box office when it came out, so there were a lot of people who loved this movie. I mean, you had Leonardo DiCaprio, you had Christopher Nolan, who directed this movie, who also did The Dark Knight and a couple other great movies. Insomnia is another movie he did with Robin Williams and Al Pacino, which I had recently watched and I thought it was really, really good. But yeah, this movie, what it said. Often cited alongside the best sci-fi movies of all time, director Christopher Nolan's Inception follows a group of professional thieves led by Dom Cobb. Cobb and his group are exactors who have been tasked with the unprecedented goal of implanting an idea instead of stealing information. Along the way, it becomes obvious that the unexpected high security in their victim's subconscious and Cobb's own past could compromise the mission. So basically, these people, they go inside of people's dreams to steal information. So there's more to it, obviously. Like I said, I haven't seen this movie in full, so I can't give like too many details, but it's really good though.
I've never seen it. Christopher Nolan's one of the best directors out there. And then, just the cast that they have on this movie is fantastic. I'm going to have to put it on my watch list. Sorry, guys. I know I've said that a lot. But I can't wait to watch all these movies. Got to find some time. And it sounds like a very impactful movie and a very different kind of movie that sets the tone. And I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, like I said, I'm a broken record here. I honestly, I feel like I think I seen like the trailer when I was younger, but just never watched the movie itself. But yeah, I don't really have an opinion on it because I haven't seen it. So yeah.
Number 2, The Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King, 2003. Now, this is a movie I am actually currently watching. It's on Netflix. At least I think it's still on Netflix. I think they were taking it off in April, which is unfortunate because I was actually really enjoying it. But based on J.R. Tolkien's how do you say that word? Eponymous 1955 novel, director Peter Jackson's Return of the King masterfully weaves together the major storylines depicted in the first 2 movies of the trilogy. Endearing Frodo is closer to the heart of Mount Doom than ever before, while Gandalf and the rest of the group gather their forces to distract Sauron and give the Hobbit a fighting chance. So I had seen the first 2 movies about 3 or 4 years ago. They were good. I can see why a lot of people liked them. They're very long. I don't know how you guys are with long movies, but these movies are long. But this movie won Best Picture when it came out back in 2003. So it was really good. Are you guys?
So, it's never really it's never really gave me an interest to watch these movies. I don't know if I'm too big into it. I liked Harry Potter, so I mean, like, that's...
When it comes to sci-fi, that's what you've seen.
Yeah, I've seen Harry Potter, I've seen Star Wars, I've seen all that stuff, but, like, I haven't seen it, so I mean, like, I gotta check that out. People say that if you like Harry Potter, you'll like that. It's kind of like together almost, kind of. But yeah, I'll have to give it a try. It sounds interesting. The Precious.
I feel like I'm in the same boat here. Like I think I've at least seen the first Lord of the Rings movie because of my grandma. But yeah, like as a kid, I loved Harry Potter. I loved Star Wars. But for some reason, I just couldn't get into this movie as a kid. Like I have not even like tried to watch it since now.
They're not for everyone.
Yeah, like I don't like sometime I have to like rewatch the first movie, see if I can get into it. But yeah, that's my opinion on it, honestly.
Before I give number 1, I want to give some honorable mentions. So for our honorable mentions, we have Old Boy, which is a movie that came out in 2003. Uh, our second movie, The Dark Knight Rises, which came out in 2012, another Chris Nolan movie, really good. Uh, for our third mention, we have Avengers: Infinity War. Um, Fourth mention, we have Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is an amazing movie.
Mm-hmm.
And for our fifth honorable mention, we have Avengers: Endgame, which is, in my opinion, should be higher on this list.
Yep.
Maybe that's just because I've seen it so many times. But for our number one, we have The Dark Knight, which came out in 2008. It is the third Chris Nolan movie on this list. This movie, I was not allowed to see it when it first came out because of Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker. My parents thought he would be too scary for me, but I just remember hearing about this movie constantly from all of my friends and my cousins and telling me how good it is and having to watch this movie. Like, I wanted to watch this movie so bad, but my parents would just not let me. But I remember finally being able to get the chance to watch it as when I got older and loving it. I don't know if I would consider it number one, in my personal opinion, but this movie does deserve to be on this list. Heath Ledger, man, like, he gave the performance of a lifetime in this movie. Yeah, what do you guys think?
Definitely deserves to be on this list. I have an issue with people with this movie. Heath Ledger is amazing. Okay? Christian Bale is amazing as Batman. Everybody plays a great role. It is one of the greatest superhero movies of all time. I have a problem with people that go, this movie, these three movies, are better than the whole MCU combined. I have a problem with those people. I have a problem with people that think this... if you think it's the greatest superhero movie ever, that's fine. That's okay. But when you say that it's better than a whole other... To be really honest, the MCU is the greatest movie cinematic universe ever created.
Yeah, and also, like, those movies, they have spent a better part of 10 plus years building up their universe, and they haven't really had that many flops.
No. It's like, it's a great movie. I love it. The best character in the movie is the Joker. It's not even the Batman. The Batman is the second best character in that movie. He's not even first. So at the end of the day, it's one of the best. You can say it's the best, but please don't say it's better than a whole other franchise that's done way better than DC. But to get into the movie, Batman and basically him kind of coming back, you know, all that, this and that. It's great. The Joker, the introduction scene when he, you know, kind of comes out of nowhere and, you know, with all those clowns, and the fight at the end between him and Batman is fantastic, and just the destruction he causes and the chaos and the way he makes everybody freak out is just iconic. It's a great performance. It's a great all-around movie. I remember the first time I seen it, I just didn't know what was going to happen next. It's a great movie, and it definitely deserves to be in there.
You know, this is kind of crazy. So when this movie came out, this movie came out in 2008, and during the same year, Iron Man also came out.
Yep.
Which was the very start of the MCU. So, you know, going back to what you were saying about what people are saying about the MCU, that is unfair in my personal opinion. You can't do that to one whole franchise. You can't bash them like that.
Yep.
But this movie is great. I love it. What do you got anything to say, Russ?
Yeah, I feel like this is a really awesome movie, and like it also shows you how much characters do put in effect to like people as well, like how much it takes to get into the character. I feel like Heath Ledger really did portray Joker very well, and I feel like even if like he didn't like pass away before the movie came out, I still say it would still be one of the greatest movies ever. And honestly, if you think about it, if he didn't pass, like how much more movies they could make with the Joker as well.
For sure. So I just want to thank everybody for listening to our podcast today. My name is Alex Drabeck,
My name's Michael Kelly.
And I'm Russell Gromback.
and this is the Three Guys On podcast.
See you later.